Hey guys, so it's here bringing you another video. Now welcome to another Challenger Spectate. So again, you guys like these, they're really educational, and obviously the idea of them is I watch champions that I'm interested in, I might be playing soon, especially now that the Smurf series is back, so you might see a bit more diversity in what we watch. Like, Huz, you're not interested in Pantheon, are you? Yes and no. I like the champion, I just think his early game scaling hurt him a little bit with the rework, but I might play him in the Smurf series soon, so I thought it was a good idea to watch a Pantheon game. And lo and behold, who is playing Pantheon right now? FNC Bwipo. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of history, if you don't know, FNC Bwipo is the top laner for Fnatic in the LEC in Europe, and he currently is, of me recording this, a rank 2 EU West. He was rank 1 a day or two ago, but basically two Fnatic players, FNC Bwipo and Fnatic Felix, are basically trading blows with each other over 1,000 LP on EU West of who is rank 1. And what was interesting to me is with how many people complain about how weak top lane is, how then is the rank 1, rank 2 EU West challenger player a top lane main? So it does show that if you just get on with it and you stop complaining, it doesn't matter. You can get rank 1 on EU West. Like, yeah. So if top lane was that weak, a top lane main wouldn't be able to get rank 1 or rank 2. But hey, he can because it's not that bad. Anyway, he starts in the bush with level 1. He starts W to get the most auto attacks, and you can kind of see he's losing this trade. He's not really winning the trade against Yasuo. He does dodge the old whirlwind, and now he's getting ganked early, flashes out the way, jungler now early going for him, and he actually will die. So he's punished for his early aggression. Really nice play actually by the Talia, by the going for that. But yeah, he gets completely punished. He's got no farm, and yeah, dead. He might be getting ganked again. I think they did have slight vision, so they might know this is potentially on. But yeah, so again, you guys know what type of replays we do, so how the hell, in my mind, how does he recover? He's now lost first blood to a Yasuo. He has no farm already. He's burnt flash, and he's an hyper-aggressive early game champion, so he's got no scaling he can fall back on. Like, the Yasuo outscales him. So this is going to be really an interesting watch. And I will say, generally these episodes that I do last about half an hour or so. He is going to go hyper-aggressive for him, and I think the Yasuo probably is actually now dead, so that's how he gets back into the lane. The Yasuo overstays, dies. Worth noting that Pantheon has 0 farm right now. So before he gets any minion farm, he got a return kill on the Yasuo. Kind of funny. But generally, I make these episodes, or I look for games that are 20-25 minutes long. This one's longer. This is over half an hour. And that also interested me because in that time, a Pantheon should fall off. So, yeah, I'm just really interested to see how Bwipo makes this work. You also have to remember, I don't know if this Yasuo is somebody known or anybody, a pro, a streamer. I'm not sure. But this is going to be another challenger player. You see how aggressive he's playing, by the way. And this is worth noting, is Bwipo knows he's playing a hyper-aggressive scaling early game champion. He has to get ahead in the early game. Like, if you're playing Pantheon and you play passive early, yeah, you're basically inting because your champion completely falls off. You have to try and get ahead early. So you can see he's running past his minions. He's ignoring farm. He's looking for that kill pressure all the time. Meanwhile, Gragas came top lane and I think just cleared out a ward. So Yasuo has to be a little bit more on his toes now. Because obviously no vision. Worth noting as well, by the way, because some people say, oh, Pantheon might be okay in top lane versus a Yasuo because he's squishy. What about something like a Darius? While that is true, that I think of all matchups, it's likely a Pantheon's going to have an easier time versus a Yasuo than an actual bruiser top laner. It is worth noting that this isn't the only Pantheon game Bwipo's been playing. He is now getting ganked again. He actually, bad thing by Talia there. Bad miss. So he survives, but you can see the enemy team is ganking top lane, which is not normally something that happens, but they are because I guess just to deny his early game. And maybe, it's the fact that it's a pro player. Let's stop the pro player getting fed. And now the Gragas will end up helping get the kill. And oh, Bwipo, very over greedy, gets killed. Gragas likely to get a double kill here, though. He is just auto-attacking, and he gets win-walled. So again, replays, by the way, are still bugged. Yasuo win-walled then. And we couldn't see the wind wall. Again, I apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it. Riot has just somehow made the replay files broke. And that obviously hurts us a bit because, you can't actually see the teleport animation. There are some abilities that you can't see anymore, like wind wall. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but that's just the way that it goes. So top lane, I would say, already a bit of a fiesta. Both top laners under 20 farm at 5 minutes. So this is why the golden rule, when you ever see like people on stream or commentary or in the comment section, what is the best farm at 10 minutes? That is the really dumb question. It doesn't exist because every game is different. Look how fiesta this top lane has already been. They have terrible farm because of what's happened in the game. You can't judge, oh, getting 100 farm in 10 minutes is what you want to get every game, because that's not practical. That's what you shouldn't be aiming for a goal at 10 minutes in every game. That's dumb. You should be aiming for the most farm that you can get in the game that you're currently in, the end. So yeah. Right, so it does seem that Pantheon's having a bit more lane control. He's making it slow push. He is looking for those, harasses. Generally, the more damage comes through just the pressing Q, just the little stab, rather than the throw. But if you're at range, you may as well look for the throw. If you're not close to the enemy, then yeah, you just get extra damage, blow the Yasuo's passive. So it's not a bad thing to do. Worth noting, Pantheon as a champion, obviously very good at diving because of his E, is a pure damage reduction. And also, furthermore, this Yasuo is now really, really far behind. So how the tables have turned. He's now 2 levels down. Talia's top lane again. Good damage by Bwipo. He's now going to be on the back foot with Gragas nearby. Enemy team might be going too far here. No, straight into the Gragas and getting killed. Now on the Talia on the back foot with no mana. Bwipo, I would say, shouldn't be tanking that tower. That might be a mistake, but they might be able to turn any second. Or Pantheon, I would imagine, is going to ult away. He is ulting, maybe on the Talia. Yep, he's done damage. Gragas will probably finish. Oh, no! He finished off the kill, does Bwipo. Now Rumble is in... Sylas stealing Rumble ultimate. Double kill for Sylas, which you should expect because the longer that you're waiting around this area, you're in the enemy territory, the more time you're giving the enemy team to react. So that's not surprising that a Sylas roamed there. Actually, goodbye to Sylas. But yeah, this how the tables are turning top lane. So we went from a situation that Bwipo had 0 farm, was getting denied, eventually got a kill before he got any farm. He's now like 12 minions ahead, and he was like 1 or 2 levels ahead of the Yasuo because he denied a massive minion wave. Now, worth also saying that technically, double kill 1v2 misfortune, technically that was not because of the Pantheon pick. If you actually notice, when this massive minion wave was building, Gragas was looking for a gank, so Yasuo backed off because he knew Gragas was coming. So that is where a big difference obviously built, is because the Yasuo was denied all that farm because he knew he was about to get ganked. But it's still overall a really good play. Lethality is being built on Pantheon for that hyper-aggression build. Chunk through any of armor that an enemy team may have. And obviously, some people say, isn't it a waste to build lethality against like a Yasuo who's not going to buy any armor? No, because they've got base armor. Like, your first lethality item generally is just getting rid of the base armor of the enemy champion, and then any lethality after it, or a Black Cleaver after it, is looking at the remaining armor that they may have. So, yeah, not a waste. But as you can see again, by the way, in bot lane, even in Challenger, this is an AD carry center. That was a win wall, by the way. You can tell by the animation. It just wasn't showing in the replay. AD carry center, I'm still yet to see an amazing one in one of my games personally. I see more of them do nothing and feed than actually do well. I know they can do well. I know it does exist. Just in my own personal experience of my own games, just don't see them doing well at all. And again, I think this is obviously since the patch, and obviously Senna has been now even more nerfed in the AD carry and support role, so it might not even be worth playing AD carry at all anymore on that champion, which I think is a good thing, but that's just me. I personally don't think many champions in League work very well having split design. Look at the damage. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Massive damage, and this is the type of aggression you want to see by a Pantheon. Completely take over. He knows, at the 25-minute mark, if they're even, the Yasuo will outscale you, so he's looking to push that advantage, and this is really bad for the Yasuo. Again, dying is always bad in the 1v1. I told you guys one of my most basic pieces of advice. If you want to climb, never die in the 1v1 to your lane opponent. But he also missed out a little bit on farm. He did teleport back to the tower, but yeah, shouldn't be dying or anything like that. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't think many champions work when they're designed in mind for 2 roles. Especially, when I heard the basic concept, oh, she can be an AD carry, okay, and a support. How does that work for, scaling and everything like that? That just doesn't sound healthy. You've got a hyper carry role and then a support role. Those two don't go well together to balance. Pantheon gets another solo kill on the Yasuo. You can see clearly the Yasuo is way too squishy. He's putting himself at risk. And again, this is Challenger, and people, you know, yes, a Yasuo, and even in Challenger, they generally feed. Really nice steal by the Gragas. By the way, that is awful feeling for the Taliyah, because remember, this takes ages to do for an individual jungler. Meanwhile, Gragas survived so far. Pantheon coming in with his ultimate. They are really angry. The Taliyah's really angry about that, so she wanted to get that kill. She does. But Gragas did steal it. He also did pick it up, so it's not a waste. But yeah, awful feeling for the Taliyah. Meanwhile, flashes on, gets the kill, does Bwipo. Now killing spree, 6-3. Misfortune gets a kill in bot lane. But yeah, the Taliyah would have committed a lot of time to trying to get that rift, and then it gets stolen. It's like, oh, really? Double kill for the enemy team. 0-3 Senna, 0-2 Nautilus. Unfortunate for them. Am I surprised? No. By the way, this is also after Misfortune nerf. Notice, though, the Misfortune's build. So I'm not a massive fan of the Doran's build. I get the strength of it. But what you'll probably start to see is the only build that got actually technically hit in the Misfortune nerf was the attack speed crit build that some Misfortunes were doing. Generally, higher rating Misfortunes were doing the attack speed crit build. Well, now, the champion is still pretty strong. You can now just do the ultimate build. So you could go lethality if you wanted to. You could go the Essence Reaver and just rely on more raw damage than going like attack speed. Look at the damage from Pantheon, everybody. She will get away because of her survivability. Yasuo dead again, 2 and 6. But yeah, Pantheon having great control, stopping the Taliyah obviously getting there. Rift Herald being used, grouping already happening now. Why again? You're a top laner. Why are you grouping at 11/12 minutes into the game? This is purely because of the champion pick. Purely. Because he knows he needs to... When you've got... It's a ticking time bomb. When you've got early game champions, you need to try and win the game early because you're going to get outscaled. The higher rating you go in pro play, they know that. They're going to try and win early. So that's why you're seeing a Pantheon group this early into the game, where normally it's like... God, if you're a Darius or even a Yasuo or something that scales nicely, a Gangplank, Kale, Nasus, you ain't grouping at 12 minutes. That's way too early, where a Pantheon needs to and wants to. So, worth noting, and again, when I play this pick in the upcoming Smurf series, when I have my next recording session, maybe tomorrow, and if I do play a Pantheon, I will know that in my head. Obviously, I knew that before watching this replay, but it's basically confirmed it for me. Like, oh, if a challenger player is grouping this early, then yes, that is the correct thing to do on this scaling of a champion. Yasuo might be in trouble yet again, by the way. This fella's having a pretty rough game. He dead. He's now died 7 times in 13 minutes. So this is worth noting. You know, when I say to people, I don't think it's worth playing Yasuo in solo queue. Again, it's not an insult. It's not trying to be salty. It's not trying to be flaming people. Genuinely, I don't think it's a good idea to play Yasuo in solo queue. Whenever I watch, like, challenger Yasuos, and whenever we do these replays, they do genuinely, that's a lot of Silas damage, they do genuinely feed quite a lot. Not sure that's the play by Taliyah. Weird play by her. You saw the Silas damage, by the way. That, by his rework, so many people were complaining about it. That is a massive buff to Silas, not a nerf. It's just a different play style. He does so much damage nowadays. But worth noting, red team, by the way, they are behind on kills. They're slightly ahead on goals. But you've got a 0-3 Rumble. You've got a 0-3 Senna. You've got a 0-2 Nautilus. The only two that are doing well is the Pantheon that does fall off and the Gragas, who's AP, who if he gets caught out, he just gets one shot. So it's not an easy game. This is not a free game. Senna's now 0-4. She dies again. So not a free game from Pantheon. So this is interesting. How is he, as a Pantheon, going to carry potentially a game where it's a ticking time bomb that he will eventually not do great? Well, starting a great thing is nearly 1v1ing this. He does 1v1ing the Silas is a great start to trying to carry. The Silas was 4-0, really strong. Shutting him down is great. Bonus gold for the Pantheon, stops the Silas free farming for a while. Also, you can't deny the morale factor in League of Legends. Silas is 4-0, feeling pretty good about himself, and boom, he's no longer deathless. He's just died. That does have a little bit of a mental hit on you, like 100%. So that's a really good thing for the Pantheon. He's farming okay, but it's still like not impressive farm because the game itself, at least in the early game, was really fiesta-y, a lot of fighting and not a lot of farming. So not surprised that his farm isn't the best, but he is doing overall not bad. Now, you know what I said a while ago, that you don't see high rating people wait in bushes, but there are some exceptions. Yeah, this is an exception. So right now he is valuing kills over farm. Why? Well, kills denies the enemy team more, which is important when you're playing an early game champion, but also Bwipo might be playing the morale game. I want to kill people and make them tilted. Killing people makes them tilted. So Silas just died to the Pantheon. He now returns to lane, and now there's a fight breaking out, and he's most likely going to die again. So that's the point. How much of a mental thing does that do to the Silas now, that he's died twice in a row without gaining anything? That helps a lot. So yeah, maybe Bwipo lost about 6 farm by waiting in that bush, but mentally, he probably gained a lot more. Obviously, he gained the gold for getting the kill, which if he was doing the farming, by the way, and not waiting in the bush, he wouldn't have got that kill, guarantee it. So overall, there are exceptions to waiting in bushes, and I'd say the few exceptions off the top of my head, one, Rengar, obviously, he's kind of the king of waiting in bushes. The meme is Garen waits in bushes, but not really. But early game scaling champions. Early game scaling champions where you want to try and get as many kills as possible as early as you can, because that's where you're going to get the bulk of your gold in the early game. Champions, obviously, that scale in late game want a lot of farm. They want minion farm. Pantheon doesn't care about minion farm because he falls off in 18 minutes, you know. He wants kills. He is now ulting top lane. He is going to be running after the Yasuo. There should be pings happening, which there are, and that means his team is flanking. Early flashes with the blasting plant. He will get away. Mid lane, though, Senna dead again. And it honestly just looks like the Senna's just positioning terribly. Meanwhile, Gragas looking for the Yasuo, nothing going to come of it. Now Nautilus getting an ultimate on the Talia, nothing going to come of that. Gragas' position getting caught does back off for now. But yeah, what a interesting game so far. So the enemy team is coming all in for the Pantheon and the Gragas. Flash does happen. Good Rumble ultimate. They actually could have turned on that if you know, to be honest. They're really low. Big old Q by the Pantheon. Again, you can still do it. It's not the best, obviously, use of your Q. In general, the higher damage, as we mentioned, is the stay. But if you're at a high range, you know, part of the game, or like you just simply cannot get to an enemy, like we mentioned, you may as well just chuck it. And it worked. He got a kill. He did a bit of damage, I think, to the Thresh, and also got the kill. I think it was on the Talia. So overall, that is really good. And that's what I'd say is, obviously, mechanically, the new Pantheon doesn't have mechanics. But decision-making is the important thing with this champion. Like here, he teleports down. So it's all decision-making. When to throw the spear versus when to just tap the spear. When to do his ultimate. When to teleport. All that stuff is really important on this champion, and arguably more important than other top laners. I know we're kind of beating a dead horse here of saying the same point over and over again, but it's because the earlier game champion you are, the more you fall off, the more important it is to do well early with your decision making. So, yeah. And right now, by the way, you know, maybe the early game was a bit messy by Bwipo, but we are basically witnessing near perfect decision making from Pantheon this game. Ignore the first maybe 2 minutes, and yeah, this is in essence what I would call the perfect Pantheon. And again, the game isn't over. Worth noting, this game somehow makes it to over half an hour, even though Red Team now has full momentum. They're now 4,000 gold ahead. They nearly was going to go for the base, was nearly open. Somehow this game lasts over another 10 minutes. Again, momentum is a wonderful thing, but if I had to guess, again, I haven't watched this replay, don't know what happens. My guess is either Pantheon doesn't have an impact for a while, like he's in side lane, his team keep getting caught, and then he can't do anything, or they focus and kill Bwipo. If they kill Bwipo a couple times, then a lot of the red team's strength right now is gone completely. So it'd be interesting. If I had to guess, my guess would be Bwipo side lanes and the Senna gets caught more, the Rumble gets caught more. That's my guess of what happens, but I don't know if that's going to be correct or not. Pantheon going for another gank. Perfect ultimate. Well done. With the Nautilus, obviously with his CC. Wonderful. And they do kill Misfortune, so that's another good thing. You know, a very fed Misfortune dying. You know, as we mentioned earlier, dying and, you know, getting killed when you're having a good game can actually tilt you a little bit. Rumble ultimate, that is a really short cooldown. Does get going to go for it. And again, how does this game last another 10 minutes? I have no idea. They have got complete momentum. The Talia, like, has rage quit. Again, in Challenger, people rage quit all the time. And if I'm not mistaken, and we did select the right replay, which I'm pretty sure I did, we got another 10 minutes of this game, roughly. Maybe even just over 10 minutes. How? I have no idea. Right, so Senna did get her first kill, by the way. 1-5 now. She is doing... I think that's the standard item build. Yeah, it's Muramana into probably a Yumu's. Gragas 1v1's the Yasuo. Talia reconnects. Maybe it wasn't a rage quit. She did kind of stand still in the middle of the lane. Maybe she just did DC. Not really sure, though. Again, wouldn't surprise me if it was a rage quit, because it was a rage quit around the 20-minute mark. So maybe the Talia was like, oh, 20 minutes. Like, I'm going to leave. They can surrender. And then 15 seconds later, her team haven't surrendered. And she reconnects going, why didn't you guys surrender? So who knows? Anyway, side lane pressure, once again, looking for that extra farm, looking to maximize, you know, both getting kills. You know, he's got 14 kills, but, you know, also maintain an okay amount of farm. You're probably not going to see this guy with 300 farm this game because he doesn't need it, but you are also wanting him to get as much as he possibly can without losing out on too much pressure. Misfortune flashes, potentially straight into a Pantheon Q. Will it reach? Nope, doesn't reach. And there we go. Rumble dies again. Now 0-4. This Talia has a death wish, dude. She gets killed between the Pantheon and the Gragas. And the enemy team might be on the back foot here. Thresh look hook lands, and there you go. They do get him. That's a big deal. Worth noting, the replay file apparently is not showing hooks, so that's fun. Enemy team might die a couple times here. Never mind, they are just way too weak. And as we mentioned, if they manage to kill the Pantheon, this team falls apart. The Rumble is weak. The Senna's non-existent. So, like, this is the telling thing. Is this how the game lasts another 10 minutes? Do the enemy team get Baron? If they get Baron, that's how this game lasts 10 more minutes. So they are starting it. They do have a redemption to heal them a bit. Gragas and Rumble in the area. If Rumble had ultimate, by the way, it would rip through them. So this is going to be interesting. Silas is staying on it at very low health. Rumble getting caught. Silas goes down. Rumble, I think actually, no, that was blue team Rumble ult. And it's gone bad, you know. They managed to get the kill. They also stay at relatively okay health. And now, I don't think they're going to do Baron, because now the Pantheons respawn, the Sennas respawn, the Nautilus respawn. So I don't think they can do it. Pantheon now ulting in. Will potentially go for a play. He is now, again, very much outnumbered. Can he get one more, though? He is just going to flash. Is going to do a bit of damage. Not enough, and will die. So you're starting to see, even though it's a really fed Pantheon, Pantheon cannot do 1v4s. Like, it's at 20 minutes into the game, with a pretty strong AD carry, with a support that can CC him. Yeah, he's not a Darius. He's already, we're in the motion that he's already kind of falling off here. He's just incredibly fed, which obviously has helped a lot. But yeah, they're waiting for this base to engage. Oh, unfortunate Nautilus hook, by the way. Will they get the kill? Doesn't look like it. Nope, not enough damage. If that hook landed, that would have been a dead Talia. And that would have potentially opened up Baron, by the way. Potentially. Dragons up. That is probably what red team wants to do, because they are 2 dragons to 0. And if they get 2 more, obviously, they get the Dragon's Soul, which would be Ocean Dragon this game, which Ocean Dragon is fantastic. You basically give everybody a mini Warmogs in combat. Very good. Arguably one of the best, well, maybe even the best Dragon Soul in the game. Worth noting, Pantheon's build, all like armor penetration, anti-healing, like pretty much all early game items. Again, shouldn't be too surprising, but lethality, even Umbral Glaive, which I don't see many people buying. It's just a cheap, good lethality item. And then he's now probably, if I had to guess, going to go for Black Cleaver. He just doesn't want any armor to exist on the enemy team. Baron is being spam pinged. There are help pings and everything. They might be sneaking this right now because, again, no Pantheon. He does have teleport, but there's Talia. Don't think they're doing it now with the jungler not on the actual Baron itself. Pantheon in bot lane. I think we might have saw we did just Yasuo, but this Yasuo could be in trouble. There could be a dive on. There is. Again, remember, one of the best divers in the game. Does muck up a little bit, though, and I think Baron might be being done. Talia isn't on it, but you don't necessarily need your jungler on it. There could be 3 of them doing this right now, sneakily, and I think that's actually what's happening. Pantheon, though, can continue his split push, and yeah, they are doing this. I actually can hear the sound effects because of the replay file. Talia ultimate with Senna ultimate. They're getting a little bit low. Rumble ultimate, fantastic Rumble ultimate there. That just stops them completely. Pantheon now basing, and that does stop the Baron. So the enemy team really wants this Baron. I'd actually arguably say they want it a bit too much. But they get off. They off the Baron. And now red team is starting it. Again, I'm still thinking how this game lasts another, like, 8 minutes. Maybe a Baron steal happens. Pantheon teleports in. Now with Pantheon here, I would doubt blue team can do much. But let's see. So, Senna queuing, healing everybody through. Baron on 5,000 health. Pantheon going aggressive. and gets a lot of damage on him and just gets killed. So as we mentioned, if Pantheon dies, as you know, especially in the early team fight, that sucks for his team because he's a massive part of their string. Like, look in the gold, if I had to guess. 13.5. Yasuo gets caught out. Threshold coming through. He doesn't end up going and following it. 13.5k gold. He is so far ahead in gold that, again, if he dies in the early team fight, a chunk of his team's gold, a big chunk of his team's gold, is just completely wasted. Nautilus actually does a good job there. Does he kill the Thresh? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't. That's unfortunate. Nearly kills the Thresh, though. And, yeah, a bit of fiesta happening. Misfortune obviously dealing a lot of damage. Enemy team looking for some deeps. Rumble ultimate. Okay ultimate. Silas out position. Gragas comes with the flank and gets the kill. Now the enemy team could be on the back foot here, actually. If they work together, I reckon they could get a couple kills. Thresh is insanely low. All that would take is a Gragas ultimate, which he doesn't have right now. Just throwing on the Thresh. And he'll have it pretty soon. He has it in 15 roughly seconds. So Baron is being pinged yet again. And it's Bwipo ulting onto the Baron. So yeah, Baron is insanely wanted this game by both teams. I would imagine this is a Baron kill because it looks like the Talia... We did see earlier that she left the game, so maybe she is kind of raging, maybe she's tilted, and she's just not even interested in going to the Baron. So this, I would presume, is a conceded Baron. Red team will get it unless a big steal happens. Doesn't happen. Misfortune ultimate gets cancelled by Gragas. Sent a bit out of position, but doesn't matter. The Yasuo is a bit too weak. He's at his 10 deaths power spike. Silas ultimate, Nautilus ultimate onto the Silas. Good CC. Bwipo being careful not to get one shot by him, and now Misfortune also on the back foot. Most likely will die. Oh, never mind. The Talia, sneaky, does die though eventually to the Rumble Scorch most likely, and the damage from the Senna now has eventually scaled. Even though she's 1 and 6, she's got a completed Mura mana, which is a big power spike for her. So overall, big thing for Red Team. They get the Baron finally. 18 kills now, by the way, for the Pantheon. He's getting a lot of kills, you know, in reality, it's fun always to get a lot of kills. Oh, interesting. But maybe he should be starting at least to 100% try to give them to other people. Give the scaling champions the kills, Rumble and Senna, mainly. Weirdly, to me, though, he's gone Triforce. Well, I don't know, maybe not weirdly. So he's got 3 lethality items. Maybe that would be a Black Cleaver if there was actually armor being built. But if you actually notice the enemy team, not an insane amount of armor is being built, so maybe Black Cleaver just isn't needed this game, and because he's so fed, Triforce naturally will give him more damage than Black Cleaver. Sheen, obviously that gives you a bunch of proc damage, it gives you the chance, or it gives you more attack speed, so Sheen gives you more damage than Black Cleaver. So maybe that is the reason, is they're not really building much damage, much armor. I'm really far ahead, so I am literally just going to build Triforce. So I think, by the way, that's the right call. I would agree with that. And again, that's something when I play Pantheon in the upcoming days. Ultimate coming through, that's something that I will take to consideration. Pantheon Ultimate goes a bit short. Rumble getting caught out. He flashes onto the Misfortune, doing a bunch of damage, and will just straight up murder the Misfortune. Yasuo go for an ultimate. Pantheon does die. Now can Red Team maintain this fight? I would imagine so. They're all pretty low. Maybe not, actually. Yasuo going to go for the Senna and just murders her too. And yeah, actually, Blue Team come out of it not insanely terrible. It's an even team fight, but I'd imagine now it's not even because the Yasuo weirdly overstays. I don't know why he stayed around. He should have just started running to make it even. But now with Gragas still alive, only person left, Dragon respawned. This will probably be a Dragon kill, and that will give the Dragon Soul, Ocean Dragon Soul, to Red Team. But yeah, really, how do I feel about Pantheon in this game? He's doing the right thing, and I think that is the biggest thing to note. So if this Pantheon was still split pushing now, I think that would be terrible. He is split pushing somewhat just to push, and he's always, like, you can see how quickly Bwipo is to ultimate into a fight. Constant. He doesn't want to just be split pushing. That's not a Pantheon's job. He needs to be fighting right now to use his lead before the game gets too late. And secondly, he's also going on the completely correct target. If he was going on the Thresh, you're not maximizing a Pantheon for his job. He's going on the Misfortune every single time. So he's maximizing that he's got a lethality, he's got a Triforce for burst, he's maximizing killing the squishy target. So you're watching, again, we said earlier, is basically the perfect Pantheon. And yeah, he is dying, but he's dying because naturally, if he's in the middle of a fight, he's going to get focused a bit, and he is going to die pretty quick. He's got no tank items, you know? He's naturally got some health because of Triforce and Glaive and stuff like that. Well, not Glaive. Which one? Edge of Night, sorry, gives health. So he's got a bit of health. He's got basically no resistances practically, like very little. So he's very glass cannon all-in damage this game. But that's in essence how you have to play Pantheon. So a bit of split pushing's happening by red team. Not sure if that's the call that they should do, especially a Senna by herself. Don't know why. They should just group together. That's your best chance of making the Misfortune less useless. Like, even though, oh snap, you don't want to group against a Misfortune, her massive ultimate. Yeah, you don't want to group in a Misfortune ultimate, but when you're all as 5 people, well then you have more things to cancel the Misfortune ultimate. You have the more things to stop the Misfortune ultimate. That's also the kind of idea. Bit of damage coming through from the enemy team. Again, Talia's had a rough game, Yasuo's had a rough game. But yeah, both teams have had people that have run rough games. These two, and then these two. So both teams have had 2 people that is just a bit iffy. Right, so what is the decision making moving forward? Now I would also maybe say that, oh, big fight happening, Rumble ultimate on top, Pantheon ultsman, yeah, ulting in, does he? He's stopping the Yasuo, no, he's stopping the Misfortune get into the fight. He's now going to come into the fight pretty late, by the way, so he doesn't have a massive impact in terms of damage, but he did stop, does get a double kill, he did stop the Misfortune, and now he will obviously kill the Misfortune, so in essence, you have to remember, like, stopping enemy champions is also a massive factor. It's called pressure. He had enough pressure to basically go, Misfortune, you're not coming into this fight. And she didn't have an impact. She didn't, by the way, even get her ultimate off in that fight. So, yeah, a really good Pantheon play. So it does show, and why I wanted to do this, it does show that Pantheon can still work in high rating. But you have to play it really well, and you pretty much have to get fed. That's what I'd say. You have to get pretty damn fed in order to make it work. In lane phase, by the way. Fed in lane phase. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, this was watching FNC Bwipo, currently rank 1, rank 2, EUS Challenger player, also pro player, playing Pantheon in high rating and making it work, which a lot of people think wouldn't. But you can carry from top lane. It's not terrible. You can still get rank 1 in EUS from top lane. So, yeah, it was actually pretty interesting, and I will definitely use some things from this game when I play Pantheon myself in the next few days. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and let me know what you want to see in the upcoming, Spectate episodes. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.